Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Havenburg. As you can see in this episode, I'm going to continue working on the main train station that I started a few episodes ago. I'm going to focus only on one half of it for the time being, because I'm sort of really inspired to do it. And before I go into more details about what I am doing, let me just talk a little bit about where the inspiration is coming from, even though that might not be the correct word for it. Since I designed this map quite a long time ago now, I specified this area where the train station is, uh, exactly uh, for it, and I wanted to really sort of recreate the train station that I walk next to every day from my home city, of course. And I almost recreated it completely in that episode. And I thought, okay, I really like the way it turned out, so let's now lay down some roads and everything around it. And as I was doing that, I kind of didn't really feel like doing something randomly, because in my mind that station is real, so I kind of both naturally and I wanted to recreate everything around it as well, exactly as it is in real life. So that is basically what you will see here. The road layouts down here are, well, they're replicated as best as I could do. And also the parking lot placements and pretty much everything. And the focus of this episode that you can see from the title, the King's Square, is the large area in front of the station building itself that I really love the way it turned out, and it is almost an exact replica. As best as I could, I replicated the square that is actually there in real life. You will see that in a bit when I finish decorating the side of this main street that runs down into it. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of say that at least this little area in front of the station and a little bit around it will kind of be an exact replica of my home city, I guess. The replica of the areas that I walk by every day. Because I wasn't really planning on doing this. As I said, I only wanted to replicate the train station. But as I went on, I found myself having a lot of fun just looking at everything and basically realizing how everything really looks, because you're not aware of all these little things and the street that is there, but you didn't even notice. Well, for me, that's for me, of course. I don't know if you feel the same way. But yeah, I just wanted to say that. And of course, also don't worry, this is going to be just a little part of the final build when I finish everything. The huge harbor and all of that will, I hope, be a pure product of my imagination. But yeah, for now I'm just having a little fun creating these places that I know very well. And if you want, you can leave a comment on if you ever tried to do something like that, and how do you like the way it turned out? Or do you actually think it is harder to create something completely new? Or do you think it's harder to recreate something because of the limitations of the game, which are very loose, don't get me wrong. This game it allows us to do really a lot, but there still are some limitations. You can't just recreate everything that you can just easily build in real life. But okay, I think that's enough about that. Let me just say about what I'm building. For the last few minutes, I was just detailing heavily the top part of the train station because I wanted to really give it like a context, and that is basically what I will try to follow. First, I'm going to just build everything from the train station up, and when I'm satisfied with that area, I'm slowly going to transition to the area between the train station and the smaller river, which will later on lead into the, I guess, suburbs, and finally into the harbor. But anyway, I like to put roads all around these areas that I detail, and or just simply pedestrian paths, because it kind of uh, gives the area more life when pedestrians just walk by these train tracks like they're going on a job or waiting for a train, or just kind of brings it to life in a game that just would otherwise be scenery. Uh, but the people are what gives this game really the character. And I also discovered when I opened the save for when I went to build this, that all of my assets now have little icons. There's no more of those white squares, or however they you want to call them, that were there before. I don't know if some mod got updated. I'm fairly sure I didn't download anything specific for that, or if it's just the game that learned how to read them. So I don't know, but it is really great because now I can distinguish the assets, the vanilla like piles that came out with natural disasters that I really like. But kind of they always seemed a bother to use because I didn't know which one was which and had to look through all of them. But now that's much easier. So if it is a mod that got updated, yeah, good job. And me placing this like gravel brush just a moment ago reminded me that I also wanted to talk about how I use these brushes. I only have 4, I think. And with the surface painter, the 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 edges are not straight. Well, it paints on a predefined grid, as all of you know. So I just use the sort of 4 brushes that I have in order to create straight lines, and then just fill in the rest with surface painter. So that's quite a nice little trick that gives good results. And also, if you put those brushes down, you can repaint them with surface painter just normally, but there won't be any like weird clipping, like when you try to fuse surface painter concrete with the concrete that already exists on the road. You can just plop a concrete brush or gravel brush down and it will look perfect. So, but I guess you already knew that. It's a pretty common trick. And here I also downloaded for the last episode these two new decals, the black stripe ones, which I really like because they can cover a lot of ground with very little work. I guess you can place quite a little bit of them, but they produce quite good results. And you saw me place quite many of those last episode in the sewage treatment plant. Now I just started building this little park. It's also in front of the train station, but it's not the main area. The main area will be next to the train station. This is also taken almost completely from real life. So I don't know if any of you recognize. I doubt that you do, but of course, if you know where this is from, leave a comment and tell me what you think. Did I do a good job or not? And also, if you aren't familiar with the city, then still tell me what you think about recreating something that you know very well. But let's just watch this part with a little music, and then I will talk a little bit about the main King's Square at the end. This middle part was actually quite tricky. You could see that I struggled quite a bit with which trees I wanted to place in front of that really quite beautiful building. I'm not quite sure what it's called on the workshop, but it is very nice. It comes in some sort of um, bundle with another building, and it's supposed to form a great palace or something. But I'm already lagging behind the time lapse. Here, I actually struggled quite a bit with this center part because I found there are no good fountain props in the workshop. So I didn't really quite know how to fill this middle area, but I quite like the way it turned out now with those blue flowers surrounded with white. Although I will admit, if you were actually walking next to that, you wouldn't see neither the fountain nor the flowers from the white bushes. But when you look at it from above, it looks really nice. So now I'm just going to be focusing on some lighting, and this little lamp that comes with the modern lamps. I think it's what everybody uses, and it fits really nicely with the center. It brings out the blue even at night, so that I'm very pleased with how that ended up. Here I wanted to use some uh, park people generators. Yeah, that's what they're called. But I because I used the tram road and not the regular road, they would always have the no road connection, so I had to just use one very near to the actual road, and for the rest of them I use just regular props. But it doesn't really matter because, as you can see, even though it is a bit dark, people are still using it and walking down those walkways that I placed beneath the decal stones, I guess. And I like to place also my lighting completely by hand, not use any of like those predetermined for roads, because I like to know where exactly I'm going to put each light. Of course, not on big highways or some avenues, but on these sort of areas that I want to uh, like put to the foreground. I'm lacking words now, but yeah, I hope you probably noticed that my commentary isn't as good as in the previous episodes, and that is just because I don't really have the time to do 5 or 6 takes. But hopefully it'll get better as the longer I do this. Now we are moving to the area between the train station and the post office. I think it's over there, and some sort of hangars what I've placed previously. And this is also completely taken from uh, real life. There's this little steam engine I found on the workshop, which looks really nice, and it kind of sticks out. And I used to, when I was little, go and look at it, and it was really nice. So, and it looks quite cute now in the game, in this little sort of a plaza area. So I'm very pleased with the way it turned out. And you might have noticed I use quite a lot of these grass decals because they really add a lot of texture. It's not everything is not the same bland green color. It looks so much more realistic. And these round bushes, I know they lack texture, but they're pretty much the size I want them to be. All of the other ones are a bit too big. like all of the grass and all the other bushes, they're a bit too big when you compare them to the size of a sim in this game. Now just filling in the gaps with surface painter and a little bit of brushes, and also adding some lighting. And now this part will remain relatively dark because, well, I don't know, there isn't really that much light in my city. It's very, well, it's very dark, for lack of any better words, and I quite like the way that looks. mm, there isn't too much light pollution going around, though it still is a big city. And now I'm moving to, I must say, even though I said the King's Square is my favorite part and that I really like it, this little parking lot that I've built here, I'm really proud of the way I built it. I wanted to like add a special detail to these sort of curved parking lots, and then I remembered the triangle prop planters, and it really looks very nice. The way it turned out, especially later when I add some trees. And I don't know if I mentioned in the previous episode, I don't think I did. I created my own little parking prop from the lines, in-game like lines, so that it only has two in a row, and that is what I also used further down the road, which I actually think that I cut out from this video because it was just boring and repetitive. I think I even forgot to use move it, so I was using move it, but I copied each bit individually and didn't do the little trick where I copy one and then place it, which means that I have two, and then I copy those two and place it, which means that I have four. But anyway, as you can see, we have already entered into the time-lapse territory, which means I'm almost running out of time. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, even though I didn't have very much time to make it. But until next time, consider subscribing so that you get notified every time I put up a video. And also, I would appreciate it if you liked the videos, but only of course if you did. Well, thanks for watching, and you will see me next time.